Hi, welcome to Agglomerative Hierarchical Clustering. This is based upon minimum distance linkage or single linkage based hierarchical clustering, which is used to find out the shortest distance between closest data points I and j of the two different clusters R and S. Here the data set is given with four data points. The xy coordinates are given 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 1 comma 3 and 7 comma 1. So here initially, which is considered as a each single clusters, each data point will be assumed as a singleton clusters. Then we will use the bottom up clustering method to form a single cluster. So here we are having totally four clusters. Then finally we have to form as a single cluster. Then we are applying the Euclidean distance metric to calculate the distance matrix. Here distance between the data point 1 and 2 we are calculating. So here we got 1, and the distance between 1 comma 3 we got 2, and distance between 1 comma 4 we got 6, and distance between the 2 comma 3 here we got 2.23, and 2 comma 4 and we got 5, and 3 comma 4 we got 6.32. Now we are going to form the distance matrix. So here the four vertices in the number of rows and four vertices in the number of columns. Here the diagonal values indicates the distance between data point 2 itself, the fourth data point to itself, and the first data point to itself. So the data points distance with itself, it is having the zeros, and the 1 to 2 and 2 to 1 both are same. So the distance between 1 to 2 is 1, and distance between the 1 to 3 is 2. The distance between 1 to 4 is 6. Like that, the distance between 2 comma 3, so 2 comma 3 is the distance this one. So 2 comma 3 is 2.23, and the distance between 2 comma 4 here 5. The distance between 3 comma 4 is 6.32. So here also the this portion is called the diagonal values, and the below part is called a lower triangle. So here this upper triangle is reflection of the same values. You look at that, the 2 comma 1 is same as 1 comma 2. So here the value 1 will come here, 2 comma 1 or 1 comma 2, the distance. And like that, the 1 comma 3 is same as the 3 comma 1, so it will be a 2. And 1 comma 4 is same as the 4 comma 1, 6. So you look at that, same values are reflecting here. So no need to use the duplicate values. So we are removing, I mean ignoring the upper portion of the given distance matrix. So now we will take only the below portion of the diagonal values. So from this given matrix, distance matrix, we will find out the lowest value, minimum value. So minimum value is here 1. So now we will select that minimum value. So minimum value is 1. Then we will join this row data point and this column data point. So 1 and 2 are the respective data points which are having least distance. So these two data points are having least distance among four data points. So we will merge that as into single cluster. So initially it was two clusters, now we have merged that as a single cluster. After merging, we have to update the distance matrix. So now after merging, we are having 1 comma 2 as a single cluster. So now after merging, we have to update the row and column of this updated cluster. So when you are updating, we will use the minimum distance between the ith data point and jth data point to other clusters. I will be in one cluster, j will be in another cluster. So now we will take, this is cluster 1, this is cluster 2, this is cluster 3. Now we will calculate the distance, minimum distance between D1 comma D2 is now this cluster to the D3. So this one. So now we will calculate the distance. So here D1 comma D3. So D1 comma D3 is here. D1 comma D3 is here 2. So 2 is written here, and D2 comma D3. This portion D2 comma D3 is here. D2 comma D3 is 2.23. So this is this one. So in these values, now we are having the minimum distance we have to select. So minimum distance is here 2. So we are selecting the minimum distance 2. So D1 comma D2 to D3. So D1 comma D2 data point this one, and D3. So here that is the value 2, and D1 comma D2 of 4 this location. So we will calculate the D1 to D4. So that is the distance here, that is 6, this one, and D2 comma D4. So D2 comma D4 distance is here, we have to take it that 5. So we have to consider the minimum distance between the 6 comma 5. 5 is the value, so 5 will be written here. So the distance between the 1 comma 2, the cluster itself, that will be a 0. So now we calculated the updated distance matrix. So from this again we have to identify the minimum value. So here minimum value again 2. So now we have to combine the data points 1 comma 2 and 3. So this is going to be combined now. So now based upon this one we are going to combine data points 1 comma 2 and 3. After combining we have to update the distance matrix. So when you are updating the distance matrix after combining, you have to update the combined clusters column and row. So this you have to update 2 cells. So when you are updating the D1 comma D2, so look at that. Here we have to identify the distance between D1 1 2 3 to 4. So for that we have to identify the minimum distance between D1 comma D2 comma D4. So these two, okay, these two to D4 and D3 to D4. So D1 comma D2 to D4 is here 5. Like that D3 to D4. So D3 to D4 is, so D3 D4, this is this column, right? So now the distance between the minimum distance between the 5 comma 6.3 is 5. So now we have to write the value, the distance between D1 to 3 comma 4, this one. So this one is now 5. The data points clusters to the itself is, distance is 0. So now from this again we have to select the minimum distance. Here the 5 is the minimum distance. Now we will select 5. So after that we will make this entire all 4 points into single cluster. So now there is no other data point available for clustering. So finally we have merged, first we have merged the D1 and D2 with the distance 1. Here with the distance 1 we have merged the D1 and D2 initially, then we have merged the 1 2 3 with value 2. So that's what given here. You look at that, first 1 2 2. So the height is 1, and the this cluster and the third data point is connected with the value 2, and finally this cluster and the data point 4 we are connected with the distance 5. So this is the dendrogram we have got for the calculated hierarchical clustering. So here bottom up approach agglomerative hierarchical clustering is done based upon the single linkage. Thanks for watching.